University. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to join us on what is an overcast day here at Cranfield. This is a live shot. Thank you. If you're interested in the Master's Portfolio of Apprenticeship-related programs here in the Cranfield School of Management, then you are in the right place. Thank you for joining us. My name is Toby Thompson, Studio Director at the glorious alumni-funded Grenville Turner Studios. That's where we're coming from today. You're going to be hearing from several of my colleagues today here in Cranfield School of Management. Firstly, Neil, who's the head of apprenticeships here at Cranfield. If you want to know more about apprenticeships generally, Neil's the person to be asking. We're also joined by Chi, who's course director of the Senior People Professional Apprenticeships, and no less than Ismail's going to be joining us, who's course director for the Exec Logistics and Supply Chain Management Apprenticeships. We're also joined by Noreen, who's in the text chat. So Noreen, it's good to have you with us. So if you have any questions at all in the time that we're together, please put them into the Zoom text chat. You know how to do that now. I know you do. So that will be, how many questions you have will determine how long we're going to be together. And if you're watching the recording, we are very keen to carry on the conversation with you. So do please get in touch. I think you know how to get in touch by now. You've seen the website. So please get in touch and hopefully you'll stick to the end of the recording. We know that you have a choice as to where you study with apprenticeships, and we know that you've done your homework. But as a quick reminder, we want to remind you how amazing Cranfield University is. It fires me up every time I see that film. It makes me realize that I work at a university. Again, it's great to have you with us. Please keep questions coming. And again, if you're on the recording, please carry on that conversation. I'm joined today by Neil. Neil, it's great to have you with us. You're looking even more smart than I am. I'm loving that magenta tie there.
Thank you, Toby.
Good to see you. Just briefly tell us about you and who you are.
Yeah, I'm Neil Withy. I'm head of apprenticeships here at Cranfield. So I look after the end-to-end processes for all of our apprentices and support all of our colleagues who deliver the programs that we have here at Cranfield.
Brilliant. Stick around because we've got a whole ton of questions coming in your direction. We're also joined online by two friends and colleagues that can explain a little bit more, a deeper dive into two courses that we have here. We're joined on the left, Chi. That's a great smile that you got there, Chi. Give us a wave just to prove that you're real. Chi, just tell us about yourself and who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Chibuzo Ejogu. Please call me Chi. I'm the course director for the Senior People Professional Apprenticeship and MSc in Strategic Human Resource Management here at Cranfield. I love human resource management. I worked as a HR consultant, so I teach it, I research it, I consult with industry on HR issues, and I'm here to talk about HR today.
And Chi, you're great fun to work with, so it's fantastic to have you with us. And Ismail, tell us about yourself. Give us a wave just to prove that you're live. Tell us about yourself, Ismail, what you do. There you go, look at that.
Hi, Toby. Good to be with you again. My name is Ismail, and I'm the course director for the Executive MSc in Logistics and Supply Chain Management at Cranfield School of Management. I'm a senior lecturer of logistics here, and I teach within the area of humanitarian logistics, warehousing, and supply chain management.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. That's a big call on your need right now, your expertise. Brilliant, thank you. Guys, stick around because we're going to come back to you to talk about those courses. Neil, I'm going to talk to you first, and maybe I can, before we go into more detail, tell us why people who's watching, why they should be considering studying an apprenticeship at Cranfield.
Cranfield has a great reputation. It's been around a long time. We are well known for our level 7 provision in specialist areas, and anybody that's looked at our website will understand the depth and breadth that we go to support our learners. From an apprenticeship point of view, we've developed that capability and competence into some real work-based programs that actually enable people who are employed to be able to take full benefit from our apprenticeship program and our learning programs and apply those and implement them in the workplace. So they benefit not just from the teaching and learning, but actually they double benefit because they are then taking that into a workplace and supporting their employers and their work colleagues with new ideas and skills. So it's a win-win.
So have you got to
great.
convince apprentices, or have you got to convince the employers of apprentices? I guess both.
Well, a bit of both really, and I think employers, once they are understand the value of an apprenticeship, they usually come back time and time again. So we have some regular customers that we work with, and have done for many years, and because they see the benefit and the value, that the impact it has on their people and their businesses, they keep pushing it through the program. Apprentices, on the other hand, you guys, the thing is think about it. It is a different way of learning. It's not a traditional MSc or MBA approach, but it is a very work-based approach to learning, and you will benefit greatly. And you get some great networking, and you meet some people from such a broad range of industry as well. So, it's there for the seizing. Take the opportunity.
So in terms of helping someone's career, apprenticeships are a brilliant kickoff, or it's a nice to have?
I'm slightly biased.
You would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm slightly biased. Not only because of my job title, but I actually started life as an apprentice.
Oh, wow. Tell us more.
So, yeah, way back in the 1970s, if we can remember that far back.
I can.
And, I was an apprentice toolmaker.
Oh, wow.
And I did my engineering apprenticeship, and then I went on to study my HNC and my ONC HNC.
In the car trade?
In the car trade, in the Midlands. That's where you hear the accent from. Very much around Jaguar and Land Rover and those car industries. So it gave me a great start. I learned a whole set of skills about not just doing a job, but also about how you engage with people in life. And, I haven't looked back since. So apprenticeships are really good for grounding us, giving us a set of skills, but also developing our capability as people.
Wow. In terms of apprenticeships generally, what sort of prep do people need to have done? Do they need to have a specific set of knowledges, or is it really anything?
It depends where you're jumping on.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, we run level 7 apprenticeships, so you would expect that people are jumping in at a senior level. I mean, most of our programs have got the title senior in them somewhere, so you would expect somebody to have been in a management position or in a senior technical role, where they've learnt the skills of their trade, and now what they want to do is to consolidate them and develop wider, more strategic in some cases, or very, very deep technical skills. So with Chief, for instance, on the senior people professional, they will learn a whole range of subjects that will expand their knowledge on human resource management. And in the same with Ishmael's program, it will be a fabulous opportunity to understand that supply chain and logistics. So I think, there's 2 examples where you can take people with exceptional knowledge already, and we enhance it.
Okay, so let's get down into details. How does the apprenticeship levy work? It sounds very complicated.
Well, at the moment, and I say at the moment because we did, have a general election last week, and that will always be part of any kind of conversation that a new government will look at. But at the moment, we have a levy system. Essentially, is most employers in the UK that have a certain wage bill above a certain level contribute to a central pot. That goes into Treasury, and then it comes back out, and it's put into the employer's account. So essentially, they have a digital account, and they can then spend from that account on apprenticeships. And it is only on apprenticeships, and that's why it's called the apprenticeship levy. There are rules surrounding those that deliver those apprenticeships, and so as a provider, we have to go through very stringent funding rules, and therefore make sure that we are compliant. We had our audit last year, and I'm glad to say we got through that really well. And then in January, just after we'd got over that, we had Ofsted come along, and we got through with a great result on that, and were judged as good across the board. So, as an institute, we are doing all the right things to make sure that we give you the best experience and making sure that we're compliant. So that's kind of a background to it.
Well, we're going to hear from Chi and from Ismail very shortly, but I just wanted to ask a few more questions. We're here talking today about master's level apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Cranfield do level 6 as well, as I understand it. Say a bit more about 6 and 7.
Well, like all learning, it starts at level 1 and, foundation skills and things like that. And we go all the way through to master's level at level 7. More recently, back in 2021, we took the decision here at Cranfield to open up an opportunity to look at an undergraduate population. And so we are running level 6 provision. We've currently got 5 programs that are approved to run, with the 6th coming on board fairly soon. And that has attracted a lot of attention because it's opened up to us a new market that we didn't see before, particularly people who are school leavers, who are, probably gone to sixth form college or gone to college and are looking to that first in career opportunity. So it's great. It gives us a whole different way of looking at the way in which we teach and educate and support learners in the workplace.
Brilliant. I open by saying that we know that you have a choice. You can do several things and you can go to several places. Neil, what distinguishes Cranfield from other institutions in terms of the apprenticeship levy?
Yeah, in terms of the levy, we're all the same in some senses, but in terms of an institute, we are unique because I think we have such a breadth of knowledge and capability. We are very specialist in areas, and what we've done is developed a whole range of apprenticeships, particularly in senior leadership and management through our School of Management, but also through our School of Engineering and faculties. And what we offer now is a whole range of really deep, meaningful subjects that specialise and support, such as the programs that Chi and Ismail are offering, which give individuals who need those skills, the opportunity to learn them in a work-based context.
Brilliant. Stick around because more questions coming your way. We're going to go, I think, a straight dive now into one of the first of the apprenticeships that we heard about there, and this is from Ismail. So Ismail, if you're still there and you're ready, you've got some slides for us. Tell us about the exec logistics and supply chain management, if you can.
Thanks again, Toby. Yeah. So our program or our course in logistics and supply chain management meets the requirements for apprenticeship senior leader level 7, and gives you the opportunity to study for a master level. I've got some slides and I would like to present today. I will not take long, probably less than 10 minutes, but gives you an overview about the program and what it offers to you, the range of modules also you will be studying when you join the program. So this, first of all, this program is a well-established one. It's been there for over 25 years now, and it's a part-time program which consists of 12 modules you study over 24 months. The program is developed in conjunction with industry and is accredited by 2 large and key accreditation bodies within our field. These are the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, or what is known as CILT, and then the CEPS, the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. Our program is recognized as one of the top logistics supply chain management programs, not only in the UK, but also worldwide. The next slide gives an overview of the wide range of modules you will be studying on this course. So it's a 2-year part-time program, consists of 12 modules. 10 of these 12 modules are delivered over 5 intensive weeks. These are 5 residential weeks here on site at the Cranfield, and then 2 modules delivered online, plus a thesis project and an optional field trip. So we're talking about 12 modules, 5 are delivered over 5 residential weeks, and then 2 online modules. Following that, you will need to complete a master thesis project if you opt to go for a master degree. At this point, after completing the 12 modules, you can exit with a postgraduate diploma, but most of our students, if not all of them, actually go for a master level and complete a thesis project. If we look at the infographic here, the program, the next intake will be October 2024, and the program starts on the 14th of October. To the left of the screen, you see the 14th to 18th of October is the first residential week. And we start very early in the morning, 8:30, with an orientation and registration. And that goes through until 12 o'clock. In the same day afternoon, we start with the first module, which is the sustainability, supply chain strategy and sustainability. And that runs for 2.5 days. And then another 2.5 days for the project management. So that's why we say it's intensive, 5 intensive weeks. So this is the first residential week of our program. runs between 14th and 18th of October. Students now leave, and then they need to come back again on the 6th of January till 10th of January 2025 for the second residential week. And as you can see, they will be also doing 2 additional modules about inventory operations management and principles of strategic procurement. This involves also simulations and procurement games, which are also delivered by external speakers. After that, in April and May, we delivered 2 modules online. These are analytical techniques for supply chain management and then the warehousing module. The students will need to come back again on site on the 30th of June for the third residential week. We call it week 4, but basically because in April and May, you don't need to be physically on site. So we call this week 4. And we call it the third residential week. And then you stay again for a summer school, which runs for 5 days from 30th of June till 4th of July, in which you'll be doing the freight transport and physical network design. And then the following week is first week of September. You will do accounting and finance, information systems, and e-business. And then the final residential week is in first week of November, which runs from 3rd until 7th of November 2025. So that basically 5 intensive weeks plus 2 modules delivered online. For each of these modules, for each one of these modules, you will there is an assessment. 11 of the modules are delivered through assignments. So you need to conduct a small project. You need to write a report either about a case study or you investigate a problem related to that particular topic or module. There is only one module, which is accounting and finance, which is assessed through a written exam. But you don't need to come back specifically for that one. Usually the exam takes place on the last residential week following, which is the week following the accounting and finance module. So you do that in the first week of November. Now in January 2026, if you are on the apprenticeship route, then definitely you need to do the apprenticeship work. You need to do to go through the endpoint assessment, and following successful completion of that, you can start your thesis project. And we expect you to start your thesis project around early June 2026, and that for submission in November 2026. So that's basically, we're talking about 24 months to complete your Master of Science in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. And on the same slide, you can see the exact dates. If you're interested, also get in touch with myself or with Noreen to ask about the specific dates, or if you have any other questions about the modules, how we deliver them, etc. Two of the modules, like we deliver online, the 2 modules we deliver online are delivered from the studio. As you can see, Toby is there, or one of the colleagues who support the delivery of the module as well. They host us in the studio, Cranfield Studio, and that makes the quality of teaching better, and the interactive usually is great. As you can see, high resolution, good quality streaming. I love that experience, and that's again for the 2 online modules we deliver in this program. If we can go to the next slide, part of the program is a study tour, or what we call these days of an international feeder trip, in which we visit one country or a European city to see how logistics and supply chain work in that particular context. So we visit organizations from private sector, from public sector, we visit NGOs, and that gives experience about logistics and supply chain in a new context. In the past, we used to go outside Europe, but post-COVID things a bit changed. So now we go to a European country. So this year, for example, we offered the students to go to on a field trip to Athens in Greece. And next slide, please. Part of the thesis project, which is an important part of your master degree in logistics supply chain, you can investigate an area of particular mutual interest for yourself and your employer. You can address a particular problem that your business is facing, and this is what our current students usually do. And they can apply new knowledge and tools which helps embed their learning. So you complete full modules, and then you do the endpoint assessment, you acquire the different knowledge, skills, and behaviors, and then you put all of this into a thesis project, an interesting piece of research you can produce towards the end of your master degree. That's an overview of the program. If you have any questions, definitely please do not hesitate to get in touch, either with myself or my colleague Noreen, who is with us now in the chat box. And if you have any questions now, please ask. And thank you, Toby. Yeah.
Brilliant. Ismail, thank you. It's great seeing you and me in the studio there. So thank you for introducing that.
Thank you.
Yes, if you have any questions, please put in the chat, because we have Noreen. Noreen can answer some of those questions. So Noreen, stand by. There are a bunch of questions. If you've just joined the session and wondering quite what this is, we're looking at the apprenticeship portfolio here in Cranfield School of Management. If you have any questions of any sort, whatever, it can be as complicated as you want, please put them into the Zoom text chat. We're not doing audio, just text chat questions, and we'll do our level best to put them. We're going to move to Chi now, I think. I don't know whether you had any comments on what... Actually, there is a question which maybe before we go to Chi, which Kirsty has asked. And Kirsty, thank you for your question. Kirsty wants to do an MBA apprenticeship, but is aware that there are changes. What more can you say about the changes in UK government, at least? I know you didn't particularly want to be answering this one, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Kirsty. So, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we've got a new government that came into force last week. They are setting up a new body called Skills England. Skills England, not fully sure yet what the remit of Skills England will be, but we know it's going to look at funding and developing skills, clearly in England. And because it says England, it's evident that they're going to use some of that levy that they collect through the apprenticeship levy to fund part of the outcomes. What does that mean? Well, that potentially means that we could see reduction in funding elsewhere. We don't know. We know that subsequent governments has had conversations about reducing the levy funds and bans, and also whether they would actually continue to sponsor some of the level 7 apprenticeships, particularly senior leader. Now, all of that is still yet to be debated. What I would say is that we are running it, and it will be running from this autumn. And again in March next year. So we've got 2 intakes in September this year, which it's still not too late to join, and the other opportunity in March. My view is that the March intake will still be going ahead as it should do, because I don't think they'll be enacting anything any time before then to actually change the rules. But that said, if you are thinking about it and you are concerned that there could be impact on the funding opportunities to support the learning, get your application in sooner rather than later, and we'll help you through that process. So great question, and thank you.
Kirsty, it goes without saying that we are dead keen in seeing you here.
Yeah.
It will be a good decision, so thank you. And Kirsty says thank you. And Corinne is also asking, and Noreen, thank you for responding. Corinne is also asking about the whole portfolio. So Noreen has thank you, Noreen, putting a link there. So please follow that link to find out more. You saw scrolling there just some information about the people apprenticeship. I'm going to go to Chi if I can, because we want to do another deep dive like we just done with Ismail. Chi, tell us more about your amazing apprenticeship.
It is really amazing, and it's specially designed for HR professionals who are already in a strategic role and who need some upskilling, or HR professionals who've got some HR experience and aspire to strategic positions and want that qualification and that knowledge, skill set. So it's all about HR strategy. If you look in the market, what you'll see are programs by other providers which are really designed to produce HR generalists, people who know a bit of, most bits of HR. This is going way beyond that. This is not just developing HR generalists. This is saying you've got some experience in HR as a HR generalist or specialist, some specialism within HR, come to Cranfield and will develop that strategic skill set you need to align your people strategy to your organization strategy, to be transformational in your organization, to be transformational in society. Really, the program is designed to produce HR leaders of the future. This is one of the unique things about this program compared to everyone else, offering similar senior people professional apprenticeships. We take a view at Cranfield that we are here to produce leaders in the HR profession who will transform their organizations, transform the people profession, and make a positive impact on society. So really, that's why we designed this senior people professional apprenticeship for people who aspire to strategic HR roles or are already in those roles and need upskilling. It's designed based on the CIPD profession map at the chartered member level. So the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, the CIPD, is the UK and a great international body also for the HR profession. And the profession map at chartered member level is the basis for this program. So if you're an apprentice on this program, it's a fantastic program because it's a 3-in-1 offer. You get your senior people professional apprenticeship qualification level 7. You get the CIPD chartered membership if you're an apprentice on the program automatically, and you get a Cranfield postgraduate diploma in strategic HR, which you can top up to an MSc in strategic HR. If you're not an apprentice, then you come straight on the MSc strategic HR route, and you can contact me and we'll have a chat about the options around getting your CIPD membership, because it's slightly different in terms of getting associate or chartered membership of the CIPD if you're not an apprentice. So the program is based on the CIPD profession map and the apprenticeship standard for senior people professionals. We at Cranfield currently offer only the HR pathway. So we don't offer the learning and development or organizational development pathway. This is really for those who want the mainstream HR pathway. And it's a fantastic program. You can do the basic program, get the PG diploma, and if you want, then you can do an optional top-up. The program is £19,000, which is funded by the apprenticeship levy if you're an apprentice. And if you want to do the optional top-up, then that's an extra £3,000. The program lasts 24 months without the top-up, so 18 months, which covers 7 core modules, and that's 6 months for your endpoint assessment. That takes you to 24 months, and you come out with a fantastic 3-in-1 offer, which is, again, different from what you get elsewhere by other providers. You get your CIPD chartered membership if you're an apprentice, your PG diploma and in strategic HR from Cranfield, and the level 7 apprenticeship. Then you can do an extra 6 months to top up to the MSc, and that's a thesis program, thesis module, where you will act as a people consultant, basically, for an organizational issue, a real-life organizational issue, and you can write your thesis based on that if you want to do the top-up. It's a fantastic program. It's blended learning, so we do 1 month here in Cranfield, a block of 2 or 3 days in our lovely campus here at Cranfield. Really immerse yourselves in those workshops, engage deeply with the faculty, with your peers and colleagues, build that peer support network, build that professional network you will need for the rest of your career. So the face-to-face interaction is unique and it's really, really something that it's valuable, and we encourage you to pick this program because it offers that. And then in the next month or 2, you'll do some online learning, live online learning, and a little bit of self-paced learning. And then after a month or 2 of online learning, you will come back again for another block of 2 or 3 days at Cranfield. So that's the cycle of learning we do. It's a blend of face-to-face, go off, do online learning, come back once in a while for face-to-face learning. And it's fantastic. We cover a range of topics on this program. So strategic workforce planning, again, drawing on some cutting edge research I and colleagues at our Future of Work Center here have done for leading organizations on strategic workforce planning. You know, we share that in classroom, some of that. Employee experience, the employee life cycle, talent acquisition, agile HR, sustainable HR, green HR. I personally research sustainability and HR, so I'll be bringing some of that thought leadership into the classroom. Fantastic things around employment law, employment relations, and a whole range of different areas in the HR profession, the people profession. And what's unique about this course is we've taken the CIPD profession map and we've put the Cranfield spin on it. You know, we've put the turbojets on it, and we therefore are developing a skill set that enables you walk out of this program as a people consultant. So you gain the consultancy skill set for HR, you gain the people analytics skill set for HR, you gain the HR business partnering skill set, which is really, really crucial in the HR profession and for your long-term career. And most importantly, you learn to influence with impact. As a leader, you learn about yourself as a leader, your leadership style, and how you can use that and play to your strengths and influence as a leader, and not just as a leader, but as a strategic leader in the HR profession. So please do get in touch. The application closing deadline is in August, and the expression of interest deadline is in July. The course starts in October, and I'm happy to chat one-on-one with you, with your employer, or your line manager to talk more about this course.
Gee, thank you. Stick around, please. A bunch of questions have come in. I have a question. Cranfield is largely STEM oriented. Is there a particular sector bias in terms of HR for your study, for this program?
One of the strengths of this course is that it's an open course and we take people from different sectors, different industries. And when we put all of that into the classroom, into the mix, you learn and you share ideas and you learn how things are done in different sectors, different organizations, different cultures. And what that means is that you can go back to your organization and your sector, but you can go back with new ideas to think out of the box. So we contextualize. One of the things we do on this course is we emphasize how can HR principles, strategies, policies, and programs be contextualized to different organizations, industries, and sectors. So whatever industry or sector you are, we will work with you to design that HR strategy that works for your organization and how to implement it and how to really bring transformational change through it. So yes, STEM is just one of the many sector and areas where we will be discussing in class and sharing case studies and knowledge around how to apply HR and cutting edge people management to your sector and your organization.
Brilliant, understood. Thank you, Chi. That was really good. So if anyone has any questions about that, please get in touch with the text chat. You know how to do that now. Neil, I'm going to come to you if I may, because there's a bunch of questions in the chat around funding.
Yep.
Someone's asking, can I take or can I get a Women in STEM scholarship? What sort of funding options might there be available?
In terms of apprenticeships, the funding the funding arrangements are through the apprenticeship levy.
Right.
That's the principal funding tool. If there are scholarships available from elsewhere, and I know that there are a number of organisations that sponsor various scholarships for people, particularly women in engineering, but those are principally to support different types of education. I think first and foremost, you would go for an apprenticeship levy funded programme onto an apprenticeship. That said, if you aren't employed, that then precludes you from being able to do that, and that's when you'd need to look at other forms of funding. And what I would say to you is that we'd put you in touch with our student office who could support you with any applications and understand what's available, particularly around some of the bursaries and scholarships that are available. But it's a very broad subject and it changes all the time. So if you are interested in that, get in touch and we'll put you in touch with the right people.
Brilliant. Next tricky question. Corinne, thank you for your question, and we're going to try and answer that one now. Corinne has a question. Can you give it guidance? Corinne's come from a global corporate environment. Exec MBA versus leadership management MSc. What sort of guidance would you give?
Right. Two brilliant programs.
You would say that.
As I would say that, yeah, two brilliant programs. So essentially what you will do and the way it works is that we run those programs almost in parallel to start with. So there are some common rail modules that we deliver, which is what the Senior Leader Apprenticeship is, essentially. And I think, and I'm going to quote myself now and possibly get it wrong, but I think there's 12 modules, but that feels about right. And those modules cover a range of subjects. And whether you're on a management leadership, MSc, or whether you're actually on the MBA route, you will cover those modules. What will then happen is that you will then separate out into your chosen strands, and this is the plan going forward. But actually the MSc is a very strong route for practitioners, for people who have got, you know, operational responsibility for making sure that things get done, for, you know, real large corporate but also operational teams. Whereas the MBA is very much, you know, future strategists, people who are going to lead organisations, lead divisions, maybe even in country, you know, lead a whole business unit and so on and so forth. So we tend to see that people who go through the MBA route are the future leaders, and their organisations are developing that talent through the apprenticeship levy initially, but then on through the MBA programme to ensure that they have got the right people in the right posts for their future in business context.
Brilliant, thank you. There's a question on funding again. This was from Lindelwa. So Lindelwa, thank you very much for your question. If the maximum funding for a course is 11,000, does the rest of the funding have to be self-funded, or could you ask your employer to use the apprenticeship levy to cover the rest of the fees?
Right. So the way apprenticeship levy works is that the government, through IFATE, the Institute for Technical Education and Apprenticeships, essentially what they do is they set the bands, and each apprenticeship will have its own funding band, and some of them are up at £27,000 and some of them are down at £9,000. And that's determined by the amount of teaching, the learning, and basically the information that they will glean from working with the employers. So essentially apprenticeships are put together by a group of employers called a trailblazer group. They will agree the content, but they'll work with experts like ourselves, and we at Cranfield, as you would expect, sit on a number of trailblazer groups where we're advising them on the content, structure and direction of the apprenticeship. So the funding band is set, we can't change that. However, what we try to do is to give the best experience we can here at Cranfield, and so some of our courses do actually attract a top-up fee because we're offering not just the basics that you would cover on a standard apprenticeship program, but we're offering the Cranfield approach. So yeah, one or two of our programs do actually attract a top-up fee. That cannot be funded out within the apprenticeship levy. It has to be self-funded through yourself as an individual and or your employer. If you're doing it yourself, again, we can talk to you about how we do that through payment plans or maybe through bursaries in certain cases. But I think, you know, I would start with your employer first. They're supporting you to do the apprenticeship, and it would be beneficial for them to support you through the top-up program as well. And so, you know, there may be an associated agreement with that your employer may take out that says, you know, they expect you to, you know, reinvest your newly learnt skills into their business for a period of time. You know, that's quite normal, but they can't do that in terms of the apprenticeship, because the one thing about apprenticeship funding is it must not have any, you know, contract tied to it that says you have to work there afterwards. Just an oddity, but that's the way it works. So again, if you've got any specific questions about your position or your circumstances, happy to answer that. Drop us a note, drop us an email, and we'll answer that question.
Linda, it goes without saying that we are very keen to carry on that conversation. So thank you for that information. Chi, I've got a question for you next, and this is about your course. What if someone is fairly new back to education? What's the balance between academic learning and practical learning? Say more about that.
Well, that's a fantastic question. So apprenticeships are designed for work-based learning, and on top of that, Cranfield is known, our reputation is known for industry-based applied education. So everything you're going to learn here has practical application in your workplace. For the first part of the question, I'll say the first module on the Senior People Professional Apprenticeship includes an element of postgraduate study skills. So this is where we refresh you if it's been a while since you've been to university on how to study at the postgraduate level 7, or if you've never been to university before, we'll give you that foundation, which is very, very essential. So we're very supportive, and we've designed this with understanding that a lot of people are in this situation. So we are there to help you and coach you and support you in developing the postgraduate study skills, academic critical thinking skills, academic writing skills, practitioner writing skills and presentation skills, all of that kind of stuff, analysis skills. And then in terms of our approach is theory into practice. So the first module is literally called Theory into Practice Skills for People Professionals. So it's all about taking useful theory, thought leadership, cutting-edge research, evidence-based HR, and applying it and contextualizing that application to your organization's culture, your organization's strategy, your organization's market position, and so on. So everything here is about practical application of useful knowledge.
Brilliant, thank you. Neil, you mentioned there about people that may be brand new to university. What sort of support are we offering people coming into one of these programs?
Well, as Chi said, most apprenticeship programs that we offer have a kind of an introduction to postgraduate study. We can also offer a range of subject matter specialist areas, particularly around academic English. So for some of our students, being able to write in an academic way, maybe through a submission of a thesis or a project. But I will say that most of our apprenticeships, as Chi has pointed out, are very business focused. So some of the reports that we produce are very business type reports. So we wouldn't expect it to be too, bound in academia, but more bound in business. And so I think there's a blend, but we certainly provide that support. I mean, beyond that, we've got a fabulous, and I mean fabulous library, award-winning library here at Cranfield, and at our other site down in Shrivenham, we've got an exceptionally good library as well. So we have fantastic resource for students to access, to get online to access, or to actually physically go in and look at those things called books. Yeah, sorry. And but apart from that, then we have a wellbeing team that look after everybody on campus. So our student support and wellbeing team will always look out for you to make sure that you get the right information, that you're being looked after, and if you struggling, we'll find a way to help you. And then of course there is the Cranfield Students Association, which is a great social environment to operate in, where they do the best coffee on campus, and you can get a pint in the bar afterwards if you need to. So there's lots of support, whether it's socializing with your, classmates after hard week's study, or whether it's actually trying to, understand some of the depth of the subject you're doing through the library study. We offer it all.
Is it assumed then that people would stay on campus, accommodation-wise, or can they bus in, or what?
We operate a mix. So some of our programs, as Ishmael mentioned, for instance, were residential. So they would be part of the residential. We can offer residential. We do have residential facilities on campus, but we also recommend other facilities outside and around the campus that people can access to cover their costs. And I need to point out here that residential or accommodation is not part of the apprenticeship levy. That's a really important point, that we cannot cover those costs because the law that the levy sits within structures does not permit that. So you can't have travelling expenses or accommodation covered. There are a very limited number of things that we're allowed to take out of that funding to cover. Some of it could be around software, for instance, if it's specialist for a subject matter, or it could be around materials. So we actually run an apprenticeship on ordnance and explosives, which is fascinating. And it comes at a cost because obviously we need to blow things up. So yeah, depending on what the subject matter is we're doing, will have its own connotation of what we can and cannot fund. But accommodation is not part of it.
I don't know why blowing things up makes me laugh. And I guess Chi's also mentioned this, and you also mentioned it too, that people possibly are coming from a position, but the career service is also available for those that aren't coming from that. Say more about that.
So we have a fabulous careers team, absolutely. Penny, my colleague who heads that team up, would be, we'll talk to all apprentices at the front end of their apprenticeship. We'll have an engagement session where at induction where you can find out the services. And even if you're in a great career opportunity right now, what does that mean for you in your business? Where do you want to end up in 5, 10, 15 years? Careers aren't just about the job you're going to next. They're actually about the next 20 years. What does this do for you? Where does it put you? The other great group of people that you need to be in touch with immediately you're on campus is our alumni team. You need to join that massive family of 170,000 alumni worldwide. And they are some brilliant people. And once you're in the family, you stay in the family.
That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a little mafia threat there.
Yeah, but it's a great association.
We know what you mean. Chia, go ahead.
And if you're doing the senior people professional apprenticeship, on top of the fantastic support you get from our career service, you'll do actually a module called Talent Sourcing and Development that has a career element. It will help you plan your own career. It will also help you become a career coach. So you learn practical coaching skills and practice that on career peer coaching with others on the course. We have a special online tool developed by Pearson Education. You'll get digital badges which you can put on your LinkedIn and social media profile saying, at no extra cost, saying, I'm now, a career owner and peer coach in career development, from the tool. So you can use that at work, to add to your skill set. So all of that comes at no extra cost if you're on the senior people professional apprenticeship.
Gee, it sounds like you learn from each other as much as you do from professors such as yourself.
Yes. The best way of learning is, to be honest, I forget a lot when people talk to me through PowerPoint slides. I probably remember 20 or 30%, The best way to learn is to practice it and to do it. And even better is to reflect on your experience. So we do a lot of that in class. And then another fantastic way is peer learning, sharing experience of people who have lived experiences and work experiences on these issues, especially when they come from slightly different contexts, because that really helps the penny drop and you can really see how this applies, in a different context or in your own context in a different way. So we do all of this, and our programs are really not designed for chalk and talk. They're designed for reflective learning, for sharing and discussing peer experiences, for taking case studies and trying to come up with solutions, for group activities and group challenges, to do problem solving in learning, problem-based learning, that kind of stuff. So it's all incorporated in our learning philosophy or learning pedagogy for the course.
I love the sound of that, real world, but the sound of it. Remind us again, Chi, if you can, about the entry requirements. What was that again for your course?
For the Senior People Professional Apprenticeship and MSc Strategic HRM, our entry requirements really are for you to have a qualification or experience in HR. And we'll support you through the application process. That's why we want you to apply early, don't wait for the deadline, so we can give you all the support and we can help assess if the program is right for you. So for many people, they will, for instance, have a CIPD level 5 qualification already, and then they come on this course to upgrade it to a CIPD level 7 qualification. Some people may or may not have a university degree, some people will have HR experience. So we have a range of pathways onto the course. Because we recognize that people are different and they're coming with different skill sets and different experiences. So our intake really is based on some relevant HR experience and a HR role that can grow and you can grow and stretch in as the course progresses and apply what you're learning back in your organization.
And in the last few minutes we have remaining, Chi, just remind us again about deadlines. What are the deadlines for expressions of interest?
Expressions of interest, I think 29th July. So please do that as soon as possible. Don't wait for the deadline. Application form deadlines, I believe, are 12th of August. Again, don't wait for the deadline. We really want to talk with you, want to support you through even writing the application process. This is one of the things that makes Cranfield stand out. We are accessible. We are available to talk to you. We are available to help you through this process. So don't wait for these deadlines. And then the program itself starts in October. And like we said, it's application of theory. So all the assessments are practical. There will be things like design a HR strategy for your organization, or review your reward strategy for the organization. You know, very practical things, and will support you in preparing for all of these assessments. And then when you do finish the taught modules and our internal Cranfield assessments, will support you in going for the endpoint assessment for the apprenticeship, if you're doing the apprenticeship. So if you want all of this, the question I will ask is, what are you waiting for? Apply now.
I love it. I love it. I guess, Neil, you would agree that
Yeah,
don't wait,
absolutely.
don't hang around for any
No.
deadline.
No, I've got a great team back in the office who are waiting for those applications.
Now.
So, yeah, we run an apprentice office that, you know, handle all of the applications into the university for apprenticeships. So we manage, as you would imagine at the moment, we've got a lot going on. So yeah, don't delay, get those in. Even if you're not sure, let's get the process started. We'll have a conversation. We can get you through an initial assessment process quite quickly. And then we can start to direct you at some of our colleagues, you know, whether it's on a senior leader program, a people professional, you know, whether it's logistics, or whether it's our sustainability program that we're running at the moment as well. You know, so we've got we are currently running 35 different programs from 19 apprenticeship standards across the university. And so some of them are quite specialist, but some of them are quite broad as well. So, you know, we get a lot of applications that we have to handle across the board.
So presumably you want people to be talking to their employer now to see whether they're interested as well.
What we find is with a lot of employers, it's tied into their, you know, their process of getting the approval internally. So they may have an appraisal process that they went through at the back end of last year. From that, they identified a development opportunity from which then Cranfield was their chosen provider, and then they've gone through in a process to get funding, you know, through the levy. So if you're in that position, come to us and we'll help you with your employer to make those correct decisions. So we spend a lot of time not just talking to candidates or applicants, but actually key contacts and employers within HR, you know, functions. So some of Chi's, you know, applicants will become our you know, future customers, and we have those conversations about how we best support the business and whether it's applicable and how it fits in, and so on and so forth.
If someone's interested and they're hovering and they want just to find out what it's really like, can people in the audience here talk to current students to find out?
Yeah, we can make those arrangements. We have an alumni, as I've just mentioned, which is quite significant. But you know, currently we have 1,400 live apprentices on program across all of our provision, and we do have ambassadors and people that are willing to, you know, run a session. You know, so whether it's, you know, they might run an open session where people can drop in to understand what is it like to be an apprentice, what are the challenges, because until you do it, you don't really understand the commitments and what that means. And in fact, my number two, who's, you know, a deputy head of apprenticeship, she's currently studying her own senior leader program. So, you know, I can get first-hand experience.
What's it really like?
And what is it really like, you know? And
she's enjoying it.
Oh, she's absolutely.
You could say she's hating it.
And I'm feeling the benefit as her immediate line manager, because I can see the improvement that she's making.
Wow.
And the impact that she's having on the business. So I've got some real first-hand experience from a Cranfield apprenticeship.
You've got skin in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Chi, I'm going to come to you in the few minutes we have. And I know what you're going to say to this one, but what should people be doing right now?
They should be picking up the phone to call us or sending an email, completing the application forms online. That's what they should be doing right now.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, we're very, very happy to talk with you, with employers, with potential apprentices. Even if you're not sure, send us an email, drop us a line. We're happy to talk. I am happy to talk to everyone who wants to talk about this program, because I believe it's the best program out there in the market, and it's drawing on our Future of Work Center, the Changing World of Work, which is thought leadership and cutting edge research on HR, not just for today, but HR for the future. So we teach you on this course how to future-proof your organization and how the world of work will be changing in 20, 50 years' time. What are those trends and mega trends? So all of this is something you get from Cranfield you don't get anywhere else. So I really believe this course is fantastic. It's the best out there, and I think you should be dropping us a line now to talk about this with us.
You heard it here first. Wow. You'll have seen Noreen's put in the text chat, apprenticeships, if you do email, good old-fashioned email, apprenticeships@cranfield.ac.uk. Please send that in, and we will keep the conversation going. Gee, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always a joy working with you. I just love your big smile there. And get yourself on Chi's program if it wasn't obvious already. Neil, thank you very much. I think you've made it clear as to what people should be doing right now. So get in touch. And if you've watched the recording and you've gotten this far, congratulations. Thank you. Again, it should be obvious. We're keen to carry on the conversations. We have now run out of time, unfortunately. The studio managers today were Robin Hackett and Marco Gomez. The producer was Tammy Argent-Peters. My name is Toby Thompson. Thank you for watching.